Hi Pottery peeps. So I realized when I was editing this video for you that I never said hello. So hello. And we're making this today. It's the end of June, but come on. Halloween. It's a year making, we make it year round around here. So we're just big fans of Halloween. So I hope you join me in learning how to make a what are we going to call this? My Black Widow spiderweb treat bowl. That's too many words. I gotta come up with something. I'll come up with something. Anyway, I'll take you back to the past. Okay, I have an idea. I want to make a spider bowl for Halloween. I've had this form. I got it from Canada. I'm looking to see if there's a name on it, and there's not. It's another one that I've had in the studio for years. Long time, actually. But it kind of looks like it would make a good spiderweb bowl. And I have these. These are the Elan transfers. And I've got my slab already prepared, and it's prepared at a 3/8, and I've smoothed it down. So now I am going to do this transfer. So I'll show you how I do that. I'm kind of hoping it'll reach side to side. Might not, but we'll see. We might stretch it. So I'm just going to lightly place it on one corner and take my hand, flatten it out so I don't get any wrinkles or air bubbles underneath the transfer. And then I'll take my rib here. I usually use the flexible red rib for this because it's nice and soft. And then I'm just going to make sure that that's really down. You can already see it changing color here. Need a candy dish, right, for Halloween? And I know it's still it's still June. Whoops, did I actually have paper. Okay, I just lift it up and fix that. And it's wicking the moisture from the clay. But I will still go over and add a little bit more. I'll take a damp sponge, just wrung out. And go over it. A lot of times I'll just let it sit here and be working on something else. And it'll transfer really nice. Yeah, I know it's June, the end of June, but I do have a show coming up in September, and I need to start thinking. When you're doing clay, you need to be a couple of months out. So with Halloween being in October, and even though they say start making Christmas stuff in July, I just can't make myself do that. But I can do Halloween year round. Funny how that works. So if it's wet and I'm pulling up ink, I will just dab that ink off and leave it alone. I don't want to smear this, so now I'm going to leave it alone. Then I'm going to pick up a corner to see how it's doing. And it's doing super, super well. I kind of pull them off this direction, and then I can stop and go back and smooth it if I need to, but it doesn't look like I'll need to on this one. All right. Flies in the studio today. I don't like it. So I'm going to lift that up. I'm going to kind of stretch it. I know that I'm going to need a little bit more. So I want it to come down the sides. Another reason why I always roll out to like a 3/8. I'll flatten some of it by smoothing the clay, but if I need to stretch it, I can. I still have clay to work with. Okay, and since I don't want anything to happen to the design, I am going to kind of set it. You could also cover this with saran wrap, but I don't want it sliding on my form, and so I'm just going to do cornstarch to just kind of set that ink, the underglaze in the clay. You know, I need to get a pouncer. I've seen people like take material and do this with a pouncer, kind of like that. Since I know that I don't have any design here and here, I'm going to go ahead and cut this because I'll be working upside down and I won't know where my spider webs end since it'll be upside down. We're back to it being hot. It's actually just a good practice to always wrap your clay. I'm going to bring this over, lift you up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to go for a run. So now I'm just going to lift this. And this is basically just a slump mold. It's just in the form of an octagon, which is kind of perfect for, actually, hold on. I want to, anything that I can use on this, I want to make smaller dishes out of. So I want to bring it, where's my knife? So I want to save. Not only will it make smaller dishes, if you wanted to make earrings, you could make earrings. Let's see, I want to make sure I'm at least to the edge. And if I need to stretch it more, I can do that. Okay. And just, I mean, this works like any type of slip mold. I'm going to smooth it with my rib. Kind of work it around with my hands, just lightly. And then I will come up the sides. Actually, I need to make sure I'm down even so I can cut it cleanly. I want to make sure that this is touching and not lifting up. I have this lace that I got years ago, and I got it at Joann's, and I got it during Halloween because it makes kind of Victorian spiderwebs. And so what I want to do is I want to add some detail. You gotta be careful doing this, otherwise you're going to stretch your clay, which you don't want to do. So I just want to roll that in, but I don't want to put so much pressure that I stretch it. But I want all that detail. So I will speed you up for this because it's just something that just takes time. How cool is that? I'm not gonna try and go all the way around with one piece. Well, that turned out very, very nice. Did leave some marks, so I'm just going to clean those up. Now you can put a foot on this, but you can do whatever you want. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. Do you have a little air bubble? Let's get that out. So I might put a foot on it. I do something like this that's going to be for Halloween. A lot of times I like gluing with the E600 or what is it, E6000, whatever that is, glass feet. So I might do that. I haven't decided. So I'm going to let this set up for a while, and then I'll show you what else I have planned for it. That's pretty. One thing I will do, since it's a hand-built piece, I have this stamp. And Justin Makery, he's on YouTube. I sent him my stuff for making my stamp. And he made my stamp for me. I believe he also did stamps for Matthew Kelly and John the Potter, which is where I connected with him. So yeah, I've got them in a whole bunch of different sizes. Okay, so we're going to let that set up before I take it off. In the meantime, we have all of these leftover bits. What are we going to do with them? Let's set this guy aside. So this cutter, my husband talked me into a 3D printer. He really wanted one. He wants to print out geeky stuff, but he knew I wouldn't go for the cost of a 3D printer unless he could use it. We could use it in the studio. So he actually, let's do this. Let's I am going to put it on some ceramic because I'm going to make it thinner. So anyway, so he talked me into a 3D printer saying he could make stamps for the studio. And he does. So this actual stamp, it's the first time he's, it's the rim templates that you can download from Clayshare Market. And this is the prototype. He did cut it a little thick. He needs to cut it a little thinner for me. But it works. So, and I really like, I've tried it the other day, and this is with Sharon Hoppy's roller. I love the skeletal hands. But to me, this is what got me thinking of spider webs, because with the GR Pottery form little cutie, or I'm not sure what he calls those, and this, it just looked like a spider web to me. So I'm going to roll this out. See if I can do this. I've actually never done this before. And lo and behold, it works. You love clay. Oh my goodness, I love clay. Look at that. Let's see. Okay, so I can do one there. Oh, it looks like, let's see, what time is it? Hold on. IV time for my husband. Okay, we're back. So let me just, oh, that did a really good job. I'm going to try this again. Just want to see if I can get just a little bit more clay. Well, actually, Let's see, I need just a touch more. Okay. Cool. I was afraid of that. I might not be able to cut through. Because this is thick, I'm gonna have to take this off. Which is fine, because I kind of wanted to lift it up anyway. Alright, let's set that back on. And I think there's enough room, so I'm going to get 2 of them out of this one. And I did find out that because it's too thick, it does not want to cut completely through. So I do have to go over and around all the little bits to cut it out. Okay, so I can clean up the edges later after it dries up. Some. I've got more clay to use. This is how you use a whole sheet. And you use every little bit of it. And then I'm sure you've seen this before, where you do the press plates. So I'm just going to use this little guy. I'm going to mark, I want these guys to line up with some of the, so it looks like spiderweb. And there we go. How cool is that? So do the other one. So now I've got 2 little spider dishes. Now I get to address this stuff. I have this mini cookie cutter set. Got it off of Amazon. And it has octagons. But what I think I'm going to do, that one's actually, some of these that are a little thicker, I'm gonna roll them thinner. Let's move these guys, because you can't even see what I'm doing. So let me, there, can you see now? Okay, good. Oh, I hope you saw what I did before. So I did do the saran wrap, but since these are earrings and if they don't turn out, they don't turn out, I'm gonna see if I can't just roll it straight with the roller, and I can. Okay. So I want to capture the big one. I think I'm gonna go for the whole spider web. And if I know a lot of people will put saran wrap over their piece and cut through it. And you can do that too. I actually don't necessarily care so much for the, I'll show you the difference. It rounds the edges, and if you like that, awesome. But sometimes that's not the look you're going for. Kind of puffs them up though. For earrings, it's kind of cute. It does seem to stick them down a little bit more. So I'm just going to go through and punch out a whole bunch of different shapes. When I am making jewelry, this video is going to have a lot of different things on it. This type of stuff I will probably glue a clasp on, and so I'm not going to put any holes or anything into them. And I will line them up and sandwich them between, between bats, because it helps keep them flat. These little guys are super fun, especially if you're doing shows, because you can sell them for $5, $6, $8, and you're using up your clay, you're using your transfer, and making the most and making less waste, less to reclaim, and you've got your impulse buys. So I'm going back and forth between using the saran wrap and not, because I don't know which one I like best. I don't want to get a line though from the saran wrap. I could see that possibly happening here. Man, I'm gonna have enough jewelry bits for years at this rate. Should probably keep them all organized by size so that I know how many I've got. It's definitely a lot easier to cut these out without the saran wrap. Okay, so I have a whole bat full of earrings. At the last minute I decided to do some hearts, and they might be my favorite. I mean, look at those. I know, we'll see. We'll see how they turn out. So I will sandwich them between two bats. And one thing I do, I like them to dry upside down. So, and I will put a weight on this and set it on my shelf. I don't cover them. Well, I was thinking, what gave me this idea is my coffee mug that I made. I think I've shown it before. I really like the way that lace looks on the top. And if you want to see a video where I do something like this, definitely, I'll show you. And it's using the same lace. And then I took black, I believe it's just the black glaze that I used on the inside, the pitch black from Clayscapes, and wiped it off so that you could see the spiderweb. It's like a Victorian spiderweb. I love it. But rather than do that for this, I had an idea. I could just completely ruin this by doing what I'm going to do. This is what I'm stirring up is my black slip. So I've been following Monique from Bonaire. She's got a YouTube channel. I'll put her YouTube channel. She does some really amazing stuff with slips. And so this is just my regular B-Mix leftover slip. I blended it, sieved it, and then I added, this is 5% black mason stain, 6600. I think there's only one numbered black mason for true black. So every time I open one of these jars, you do have to stir them up because the water does, just like in your slip buckets, you know, the water rises to the top. So what I'm thinking is that I have quite the impression from the lace. And I'm going to go ahead and paint this. I'm going to paint the lace rather than do like put an underglaze and then wipe it back after it's been fired. I was thinking I'm going to put it in now before it's fired. I actually am one of those that I love this stage of the clay. I love decorating this stage. I can spend hours at this stage. When it needs to be glazed, I want to dip. I want it done. I have a lot of stuff waiting for me to glaze that's going to take a lot of time. Now I do it. I want to be out here making. And so the more I can decorate when it's in this stage, happier I am. I'm actually going to do 2 coats. I'm going to let it dry. And then I am going to shave it away. And I'm hoping I'll get the texture, but it'll be smooth. It'll be like embedded in the clay. I'm sure there's a name for it. It's not Mishima. Well, it could be Mishima, where you do the carving and then you fill it in. I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up. Because and you know what? We might as well do my logo too. We will just fill all this stuff in. I'm going to let it set up. It's already, today's going to be warm. It's already, I'm going to make sure there's no holes. Nothing peeking through. I want all those little impressions filled in with the slip. Which is probably why I will do 2 coats of the slip. I've done this before on a placemat and it worked out really well. You can already see it's getting kind of tacky because it's drying. Okay, so we'll leave that to set up. It's a day of doing lots of different projects and letting them sit up. Okay, my second coat has dried, and it's now, it took until, it's almost 4:30, so it took quite a while. I'm actually really surprised that it took as long as it did. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to scrape away, and I've got a piece of paper towel here that I'm going to scrape on, or not scrape on, but so basically I'm going to very carefully come over to where I've got, I'm going to start here with my logo and see how it works. It still might be a little bit too wet. I might have to, I know I'm getting to where the point where I'm going to have to take it off the form or it's going to crack on the form. But I like the fact that I have resistance. I can press against something while I do this. But I'm wondering if it's still going to be too wet, actually. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm basically going to just carefully, yep, I think it's still too wet. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let this dry even more. I actually might let it even get close to bone dry. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and take it off the form so that it doesn't crack on the form. Ah, this will work. I don't need a real big bat for this. So, set this down. Actually, let's set it back over here. And this is cool. Woohoo! Oh, that's fun. All right, where's this sponge? So, while it continues to dry, at least I can clean up the edge. And there was one other thing I wanted to do. I got to be careful cleaning up this edge. So I don't want to, you know what? I'm just going to soften this edge, and then I probably will come back and paint it black anyway. Oh, not probably. I know I will. So if I smush it or smear it, that's okay, because it's going to get painted. And then I had an idea to even take it up a little further. Recently, very recently, I've gotten back into slip trailing. I tried it years ago, but thanks to the Potter's Journal, he's got me more interested in it. So I've been giving it a go. So I've got my black slip here that I put on here, and this is one of these tools for slip trailing. And funny story, I've actually owned this for, oh, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. Never used it until this week. And I still have okay. I think I'm going to attempt, in case you didn't see what I was doing, because of course I'm not paying attention, squeezing it, putting it into the slip, and sucking it up. So now I've got black slip in there. And I am such a messy person. Okay. So we've got black slip in there. Every spider web needs a Charlotte, don't you think? All right, So I'm going to put on this applicator. I'm using the white applicator. I know I've got some. I'm just going to pound it on there, and this is my palette. So I kind of want to see, I want to make sure it's going to flow for me. And on my phone, while I was having lunch, I looked up spiders. Where'd they go? Well, let's go ahead and find the black widow that I wanted, because you know there is in my book no spider scarier. Okay, spider coming in for those of you who are like I am. So I'm trying really hard not to wig out over spider, but I want to do a spider for my bowl. So I'm gonna kind of practice. So I figure we've got a round ball for the body, big round ball for the and then I had a fly crawl on me. And then 2 little round balls at the top. Let's see if we can do this. Okay, and now we've got some crazy legs. Okay, spiders have 8 legs. So let's attempt to make some legs. Okay, there's 1, 2. This one's a little shorter. And then 3, and I got a fly on me. Ah! Okay. And I'm okay if I get little bumps, because then they look like little joints of the legs. And this one's a little, I think it needs to go out that direction. This is a funky looking spider. Okay, so first attempt. And what do? I go right to the bowl after doing my first attempt. And I'm gonna get a cushion, just in case I want to tip my bowl. So, because I think it needs to, whoops, lost my spider picture. Okay, so now it's a matter, normally I would pick out where I have a problem, you know, like a flaw in the piece, but I actually don't see a flaw, at least not right now. So now I got to figure out, I think it needs to go down because it's going to be headed down into the bowl. You know what? Before I do this one, I've got these 2, right? I should practice on these 2. Though they do need to be a little smaller. Keep my palette over here. It's good to always try out your... All right. So let's go ahead and do the head. And then the body. Big butt. 2 little dots for the eyes. Actually, I think I want his head to be bigger. which means his butt needs to be bigger. Her butt, because you know it's a female. And then let's go ahead and do some legs. Whoop. Let's do those two. Let's do side to side legs. Okay. And then after it's fired, I can put the red bow tie on. Okay, and so then these legs go down. And this one's shorter. And this one's longer, and boy, is it wicked looking. These will either never sell because it's got the spider on it, or they'll sell extremely well. Huh? What do you think? Y'all have to let me know. Are you grossed out? I'm a little wigged. I won't lie. I am a little wigged. So, got the head. Got the body. Two little eyes. Huh. As soon as I do the eyes, I want the head bigger. This might crack on me because I'm adding so much wet slip. We'll see. It's an experiment. Actually, I think I can go ahead and man, I've got some birds out there that are really arguing. Okay, so another spider. Now, let's go to the big one. I'm gonna even put that down. So this one's going to have to be bigger because of the size of the... One thing I found out, don't let your thing get air in it. And sometimes I will tip it up and then I'll hear the air and then it pops at me later, spits at me. Okay, so I'm going to do a head. Big, big, big butt. Okay. Ooh, you know what? I could do more than one on this guy. When I get a lot of slip on my applicator, I like to wipe it off and, dang it, make sure I felt that air go in. Okay, so... Big long leg, two short little legs, and another big long scary leg. Okay, a little tricky here because I can't, if I mess up, because I've got the underglazes on there, I can't wipe it and redo it. I probably shouldn't have said that until I was done. It's like the universe with that sixth sense of humor might get me. Okay. Oh, actually, I think I just leave it with one. It's kind of like a flower in somebody's hair. I'm nuts. Okay, so, oh, that wasn't good. I shouldn't have done that because I still have to scrape that off. So now I've got a spider to deal with when I scrape it off. Okay, welcome to the world of Tiffany. But I guess I'll have to hold it and scrape. It's still too wet, so anyway. I'm gonna let this sucker dry. And I guess we will come back to it again later to show you how I'm gonna do that. In the meantime, I kind of want to do more spiders. It's now 6:30 at night. This is on its way to being bone dry. I've already taken the slip off of that just to make sure that it was working the way I'd planned. So now I just need to go around and carefully scrape all the slip off. To reveal the filled in lace design. So you want to reveal enough to where you see it, but not so much that you take it all off. What I like about this is that you get the design, it's filled in with the color that you want, but it's going to be as smooth, pretty much as smooth as your piece, you know, that it wouldn't have had texture. And if you've ever, like with a bisque piece, like put in a black underglaze, sometimes the black stains the clay and you just can't get it off. No matter how many times you sponge it, you just spend more time sponging it, and it just comes out of the places that you want to keep it and ends up staining the bee mix. And this way, you just take off what you want and reveal the design. It's really good for like plates and, whoops, I got a scratch. Don't want to go that way. I must have a scratch on the rib. Like if you ever use placemats for plates, but you don't want the bumpy texture on your plate, you can fill it in with colored slips and you get the design without the bumpy texture. The drawback is that it takes a while. It's oddly satisfying though to reveal what's underneath. But you don't want to press too hard. You want to let the tool do the work as you just scratch away. So I'll do one section here and then speed you up. Or I'll just show you what it looks like at the end. We'll see what happens. And if you, as it gets bone dry, if you want to look at what it looks like, also to make sure, depending on what colors you use, because you could do any color with this. If you spritz it, you get your color back. But you can see that's smooth. I don't even feel it. I just see it. It's inlaid texture, basically, is what we're doing. Maybe that's what it's called. I know it has a name, probably has a Japanese name, but I'm not sure. I can only keep so much information in my head at a time, and usually I keep all the useless stuff. All right, I'll go ahead and speed you up for the rest of this. Okay, I'm going to give you a tip. This is much drier down here than it is up here. So I'm actually going to go around, because this is also, since it's drier, it's much, much more fragile. So start there. Wherever is driest, start there. And if it's too dry, put on a mask. This is, I mean, we're creating dust here. I mean, it's coming off and falling down. It's not getting in the air. And even though I have my doors open, I don't have a breeze inside. So I feel pretty fine to keep away at it. But if it's too much, too dry, and it's in the air, put on a mask. Okay, this turned out even better than I thought it would. I'm pretty tickled. One thing I'm going to do before I call it is spray it down lightly, just to make sure, like I'm going to hit each area, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Right there, and then right here. That's gonna look cool. I love it when an idea actually comes together. Okay. All right. So I do know I have a problem. And I will show you my problem. They might lay down, they might not. My spider his leg is lifting. So if his leg lifts a lot, I'll take it off, and I'll take off the legs and add them like with a maple liner when I glaze it. So actually, give you an idea of what it's going to look like. This is going to be a cool bowl. Perfect for Halloween. Love it! Looking forward to making more Halloween stuff too. I have no idea why it's so much fun. Okay, so that's it for me today. I hadn't planned on filming all day, but it is now 7 o'clock in the evening, and it's been all day. Well, breaks in between and so forth. But I'm actually really, really happy with this one, even though it is a Black Widow. So I hope this gives you some ideas. I love, love, love this, and I love that it's really smooth. You know, I mean, we like texture because we like visually what it does, but sometimes you don't want it, you don't want to feel it. You don't want it rough. I don't like it on, I don't like a heavy textured plate if I'm dragging like a fork or a spoon over it. I don't want to hear that. So this is a really good tip. You can't do it with underglazes. You have to do it with colored slips or slip. You could do like a red clay with a white slip. As long as they have the same shrinkage rate, you'd be fine. So, but yeah, pretty tickled with that. So you'll have to let me know what you think. And if you give it a try, please share some pictures. And I hope you can get muddy this weekend. And have a great 4th of July. Those of you in the States, let's celebrate some independence. Why don't we? Okay, we'll see you in the next one.